Sixers will abandon the team's plans to build an arena in Center City and stay put in South Philadelphia.
$1.3 billion Market East Arena now appears to be dead.
On Sunday, we learned that the plan for a Center City arena, it was being ditched.
Breaking news about the surprise announcement that the Sixers will no longer move to Center City and will instead build a new arena in South Philly with the Flyers.
This morning, the Sixers abandoning plans to build a new arena in Center City.
Because advocates spent 2.5 years opposing this plan. They say even though that the arena was scrapped because of a change in the Sixers game plan, they're counting this as a win, but they do hope the city learns a lesson from this 76ers saga.
Carpet for the Sixers, you become the carpet they will trample all over.
They're going to play you for 2.5 years. We live to fight another day, and that's more important than anything.
On Sunday, January 12th, 2025, Philadelphia was stunned to learn that the long gestating and controversial project to build a new multi-purpose arena for the NBA's 76ers in Center City's long-struggling Market East district, a proposal that had been approved despite broad opposition, would not be moving forward. The decision caught elected officials, residents, activists, and labor leaders by surprise. For some, supporting this proposal came with high political stakes. Others were elated by the news, relieved that the vibrant and vital communities around the proposed arena site, including Chinatown, the Gayborhood, and the sprawling Jefferson Hospital complex, would be spared the immediate and long-term impacts caused by the arena's construction and operation.
That, a mayor who was supposed to represent the entire city would choose to support this project that could destroy Chinatown.
We will never concede to an arena being built in Chinatown.
With this arena, one, it's a giveaway to billionaires, right? I mean, SEPTA's in crisis. Our hospitals underfunded, our schools, they want to close them. So how are we going to give $400 million to billionaires?
Deeply concerned about the impact on Jefferson's ER. We're deeply concerned about the impact of nonstop gridlock on Center City writ large.
Instead, the new arena would be built in South Philadelphia, in the same stadium complex where the Sixers already share a facility with the Philadelphia Flyers. Although this solution satisfied most of the stakeholders and parties in this fight, anti-arena activists, labor unions, the Sixers, Comcast Spectacor, which is one of Philadelphia's largest employers, a co-owner of the proposed arena, and the owner of NBC Broadcasting, plans for the Market East corridor were left really vaguely defined. The arena project was first sold as a badly needed injection of capital and activity that would instantly revitalize this 6-block stretch of a major commercial thoroughfare. Now, what would save Market East? I'm Emily Holloway, and you're listening to UAR Remixed, a podcast companion to the journal Urban Affairs Review. In this 4-part miniseries, we're exploring the trajectory of the contested and ultimately abandoned Sixers Arena project on Market Street in Center City, Philadelphia. You'll hear from a wide range of stakeholders, including Chinatown activists, arena opponents from the city's medical community, economists, and urban planners and designers, to learn more about the knotty development history of Market East, the false promises of arena and stadium projects for urban economic development, how political coalitions emerged in real time to stage opposition and galvanize public support, and what the future might hold for this small but crucial section of Market Street.
Where are we now? Surely you recognize the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a city you'll love.
Nestled between City Hall to the west and Independence Mall to the east, the Market East corridor was, for much of the late 19th through the mid-20th centuries, the main shopping district for Center City. Department stores such as Gimbel's, Wanamaker's, and Strawbridge & Clothier, among others, lined the 6-block stretch. Smaller merchants and grocers filled the gaps, and the robust public transportation connections, including trolleys, buses, and regional rail, kept activity churning day after day. As early as the late 1940s, decline along the corridor was evident and accelerating. This was due in no small part to the growth of Philadelphia's suburbs, and with them, the emergence of the suburban shopping mall. Residents left the city, and businesses soon followed. It also kicked off what some urbanists call a doom spiral or doom loop, where reduced demand for goods, services, and real estate leads to declining property and sales tax revenues, further decreasing the quality of public services, which leads to less demand. Sound familiar? Many cities during and immediately after the COVID-19 pandemic reported similar challenges, Philadelphia and Market East included. In the 1950s and 60s, this process was just getting underway in Center City.
Market Street suffered, much like other cities' kind of main shopping thoroughfares, from the advent of the suburban shopping mall. So what was once I think there were 6 big department stores that lined the street with tons of foot traffic. And it was, I can even remember myself as a kid getting dressed up to go down to Wanamaker's. You kind of, you made it a day with your family, and it wasn't just running in to get some shoes at wherever, at a discount shoe store. So it had a certain gravitas. It was also, as I was growing up, already in decline. I took the Reading train in a lot because we lived on the Reading line out from Chestnut Hill into Reading Station when it was still a big giant train shed from the Victorian era with like what previously had been probably coal belching trains, sort of making all the glass dark. I mean, it was Dickensian in a way, which was thrilling and romantic, but still wasn't. It still wasn't inviting by that point. And this would be, the late 60s, early 70s. So it had begun to decline for a long time.
That's Harris Steinberg, Executive Director of the Lindy Institute for Urban Innovation at Drexel University and a lifelong Philadelphia resident.
Unfortunately, in those days, the prevailing planning philosophy was tear all this down and create suburbia within Center City, and that's a way to save the street and save the city. So under that philosophy, largely led by, in this instance, by Ed Bacon when he was head of the Planning Commission, we created the Gallery, which was, in its day, a landmark building, beautifully done, beautifully integrated with the surroundings, but it turned its back on the street. I mean, it connected the train lines. It ultimately created a commuter tunnel, which brought the old Pennsylvania Railroad and the Reading lines together. I mean, it was catalytic in terms of its kind of transformative effect on our transit network. But the building itself just further deadened the street because it was all interior focused. You could walk from Gimbel's at one end, which was where the arena was going to be, to Strawbridge's at the other end, much like you would in the King of Prussia. But that just sucked life off the street. There were no windows onto the street. It was a big, giant block that deterred, positive street activity.
The Gallery is over 200 fine stores, Gimbel's, JCPenney, and Strawbridge and Clothier. So come celebrate the magic of Christmas with us at the Gallery, open till 9 p.m.
Edmund Bacon, who Harris just mentioned, was the executive director of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission for over 10 years. Bacon is often mentioned alongside major post-war urban planners like Boston's Ed Logue and New York's notorious Robert Moses.
Architects and planners, business and civic leaders have joined with responsible government officials in a combined effort toward a common goal. To present the resolution of this total effort and define its principal strength is a man who has played a leading role in this resurgence, the executive director of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission and member of the American Institute of Architects, Edmund N. Bacon.
Here we must think in terms of a total design concept. We must relate to an overall design structure. We have found in our work in rebuilding Philadelphia that a central design idea, well developed and clearly expressed, can of itself become a major creative force and can make more meaningful the work of individual architects in various parts of an area. And so we have found it necessary in our work in rebuilding Philadelphia today to continue to develop design principles capable of influencing future action. Beneath Market Street, the subway stations open into a lower-level garden connected by a shop-lined concourse with a commuter rail station to the north, a proper entrance to Center City. At the street level, the shops are set back, building arcades with landscaped esplanades before them. On the upper level is the shopping promenade, extending in an uninterrupted 3/4 of a mile above the street. Glass bridges leading into the second floors of the 5 department stores link their 7 million square feet of retail space into a single functioning unit, served by every major means of transportation. This comparatively small but intense project binds together all parts of the plan into a cohesive whole. It is the 3-dimensional system of space organization, a resolution of regional forces. This is not planning in the conventional sense, nor is it architecture. It is the form that should precede architecture, awaiting the designer's touch to bring it into life.
After years of negotiations with representatives from the business community, civic leaders, community groups, and transit authorities, the gallery broke ground in May 1975 and opened in August 1977. A second phase, Gallery 2, opened in October 1983. At the time, the project was held up as a model of urban renewal, a successful experiment in bridging changing consumer preferences for suburban-style shopping with a central city location, complete with multimodal transportation access. But the design remained a problem. The huge windowless mall turned its back on Market Street, creating something like a fortress in the middle of Center City. Over the next several decades, commercial activity within the gallery and pedestrian activity along Market Street limped along. This section of Market runs roughly between 13th Street to the west to 7th Street to the east. It abuts the Independence Hall Park and is surrounded by Chinatown and the Philadelphia Convention Center on the north side and Chestnut Street to the south, with Jefferson Hospital just down 10th, Washington Square East to the southeast, and the Gayborhood on South 13th Street. Market East has been for years a kind of dead zone in the midst of some of the city's busiest, most vibrant and resilient neighborhoods, despite its excellent transit access and proximity to everyday services and tourist attractions.
So, as one kind of economic developer used to say along the Delaware, that as the industrial glacier receded, in this case as the department store glacier receded, we were just left with empty buildings, empty lots, no reason to go there, and a downward spiral really began to kind of emerge. The convention center helped to some extent because it too was a big blank inward-facing building, but it brought a lot of people who needed lunch and other stuff to the street. So you had Marriott build a hotel across from the Reading Terminal, but they closed the front door on Market Street, and you can only open in the back. I mean, it just was emblematic of the time. Cities were scary places. This is just what big companies and big institutions did under the name of revitalizing the street. And just unfortunately, the cure was worse than the illness in this case.
There were multiple attempts to catalyze development and also capitalize on these assets in the decades since the gallery opened. Gimbel's department store, once at 8th and Market, closed in 1986. The building was almost entirely razed by a Chicago-based developer, and the lot sat vacant for more than a decade. Then, in 1998, the Disney Corporation came in with a bid to invest $150 million to build a new experimental site called Disney Quest.
One of the most incredible places in Chicago this year. It's called Disney Quest.
Right behind us is a 5-story building that is an indoor interactive theme park. It is full of high-tech virtual reality games and gadgetry.
Teenagers are going to love this. I can hear some music beginning to thunder. The anticipation is definitely building out here. Janet and Jim, I bet you can feel it up there too.
Disney's massive theme parks in Florida and California had become incredibly popular in the 1990s. And Disney was hoping to expand their presence in urban markets with an indoor arcade and theme park. So the Chicago site opened first in 1999. The enterprise didn't do very well. In Philly, Disney and its partners only got as far as digging a massive hole for the foundation between 8th and 9th Streets on Market. Then they pulled out in 2000, leaving what became known as the Disney Hole. So the Disney Hole at 8th and Market remained vacant for years until being converted into a municipal parking lot, one that remains to this day. The dirt beneath the lot has shifted over time, so the surfaces are cracked and uneven, sloping. The city and regional developer, the Goldenberg Group, who had been working to develop the site for Disney, pivoted to another plan, a Center City casino. They bid for a casino license from the state, called Market 8. Not only was their licensing request denied, but activists in Chinatown also pushed back vigorously for the second time. Just a few years earlier, in 2009, the City Planning Commission approved rezoning the former Strawbridge and Clothier's department store to open a casino. Chinatown activists and the organization Casino Free Philly organized a series of protests, marches, and petitions to stop the plan. And around the same time that Disney abandoned the hole on Market Street, the Philadelphia Phillies, planning their move from the soon-to-be demolished Veterans Stadium, proposed building a stadium in 2000 at 12th and Vine Streets, just a few blocks north of Market and at the very edge of Chinatown. Activists quickly consolidated and packed city council meetings to voice their protest. In June of that year, hundreds of people marched in protest, and many Chinatown businesses closed down to participate. The city and the Phillies withdrew their plan by the end of the year. Now, the lot where the stadium would have been has a community playground and the folk arts cultural treasure charter school. There's a long legacy of activism in Chinatown to protect its community from development and displacement. And this legacy has been a through line to the most recent struggles against the Sixers arena.
So we have a motto, in the Chinatown movement, we're here to fight the things that our community doesn't want, and we're here to build the things that our community does need. My name is Mohan Seshadri. I'm the executive director of the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance, or APIPA, and we're Pennsylvania's statewide Asian American civil rights advocacy organization. Literal families whose grandparents, parents, and kids had all kind of been trained up or educated or skilled up through the stadium fight, 20, 25 years ago, through the casino fight, some 15, 16 years ago or so, through the Vine Street Expressway fight, literal decades ago. So many of those elders, so many of those community members were still around, were still active, and were able to say, this is what we learned from the previous attempt by developers, by government, by et cetera, to take a chunk of Chinatown or destroy Chinatown. This is what we did right last time. This is what we learned from last time. This is what we're going to do differently this time.
We'll hear more about Chinatown's role in these struggles later in the series. For now, let's turn back to that stretch of Market, specifically the gallery. By the end of 2014, plans were in motion to renovate and reopen the gallery as the Fashion District, a modernized indoor shopping mall that opened in 2019.
Well, today is the grand opening of the Fashion District Philadelphia. The space once known as the Gallery in Center City. The new shopping and entertainment spans 3 city blocks.
It's an incredible transformation. The former site of the Gallery Mall goes upscale. Officials cut the ribbon for Fashion District Philadelphia today.
Looking back, September 2019 was not the most auspicious time to launch an indoor retail and dining marketplace in Center City. Just 6 months later, the COVID-19 pandemic would send shockwaves across the world, hitting in-person retail and food services particularly hard. Many of the mall's tenants closed, filed for bankruptcy. Even one of the site's co-owners, Preet, would file for bankruptcy twice.
Just about 24 hours from now, Philadelphia will see its indoor dining, gyms, and museums shut down. And with the holiday shopping season around the corner, the closures could also affect the city's retail industry.
Down at some shops, and experts expect a sluggish holiday shopping season for many brick-and-mortar stores, with many people still out of work and others turning to online shopping.
Well, a major mall operator known as Preet has filed for bankruptcy right in the height of the holiday shopping rush.
And this will certainly impact the future of the fashion district.
Enter the Sixers. In the summer of 2022, team owners Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, from founding partners Josh Harris and David Blitzer, proposed a $1.3 billion privately funded arena. In partnership with real estate developer David Edelman, the project will be helmed by the newly created 76 Dev Corps, jointly owned and managed by Harris, Blitzer, and Edelman.
This place is projected to generate over $700 million in new tax revenues for the city of Philadelphia and the school district. Grow the economic pie is what I committed to doing. Finally, 76 Place presents an unprecedented opportunity to unlock that long-needed redevelopment and unprecedented revival on East Market Street, creating jobs, generating additional tax revenue, and bringing vibrancy back to a key commercial quarter.
Well, some like it, others don't. We're talking about the Sixers' plan to build a new arena.
So the team is hoping to move out of South Philadelphia and right into the heart of...
Talk about the biggest sports story of the day and maybe the week. Sky Fox is up over the Fashion District. Of course, it's Market Street here in Center City, Philadelphia. The 76ers could be looking for a new home.
Mayor Parker announced that a deal has been reached with the 76ers to build their new arena in Center City.
My administration has reached an agreement with the Philadelphia 76ers for an arena in Center City.
In the next episode, we'll look at 76 Dev Corps' proposal, along with experts in public finance and arena subsidies, to better understand the impact this project could have had on the city.
That the claims that stadiums are going to pay for themselves are not backed up by any sort of evidence whatsoever, and that you're not going to get the economic benefits that the people that want these subsidies claim you're going to get. And also, I think the hard part that people don't understand is that government funds have opportunity costs. And if you're going to give $500 million to a billionaire sports team owner to build a new arena, that's $500 million that the local government can't spend on public safety, education, healthcare. Those opportunity costs are real, and people have a really difficult time grasping that idea.
So I think one of the sort of difficult things when thinking about something like a sports event or an arena is that everyone understands what it's like to go to an event and the joy of it all. But when you start talking about the financials of it, they don't make a lot of sense. Most of us don't deal on a daily basis with millions of dollars, much less billions of dollars that it often takes to build this. So when you say, well, this is going to cost you $1 billion, it's a big city. I don't know how much that is, and trying to break it down on a personal level is sometimes difficult to do.
You've been listening to UAR Remixed, a podcast by the journal Urban Affairs Review. Special thanks to Drexel University and the editors at UAR. Music is by Blue Dot Sessions. This show was mixed and produced by Aidan McLaughlin and written and produced by me, Emily Holloway. You can find us on Blue Sky at urbanaffairsreview.bluesky.social for updates on the journal and the show. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.